Hello, hello, and good morning. My name is Julie Dennis Fox, and it is my honor and my pleasure to be here with you. Calling in from California, beautiful Northern California. I hope you're doing well today. So let's talk about healthy sexual vim and vigor. This is the topic for this month's monthly health tune-up. Now, what I'm really talking about here is our vim and vigor for life, not just for our sexual response, but for life. When we have that energy for life, it applies to all aspects of our lives, including our sexual health. So I appreciate your attendance this morning. I'm on Facebook Live, Instagram Live, you name it. We are live, live, live. So let's get into it. And by the way, everybody who attends or watches any of my monthly health tune-ups receives a complimentary Canna joint relief, one of my topical products with CBD, excuse me, and other botanicals as well. I will give you the email to email at the end of this presentation. It's short, it's quick, it's a couple minutes long, so hang tight, don't go anywhere, grab a snack, and let's head on into our topic for this month, healthy sexual vigor. But before I talk about the details of the topic, I definitely want to point out that I am not a practitioner. I am an herbalist, but I'm not a practitioner, and I'm not here to treat, cure, or prescribe or mitigate disease. I always recommend that if you're going to make any changes to your health protocol, to work with a qualified healthcare practitioner. And I am not a practitioner. I'm just relaying information that I have picked up along the way. So let's talk about it. You know, this is such a complex topic, as they all are. But sexual response, certainly, I'm not here to tell you that, oh, I have an herb that's going to take care of all of your problems. I don't have that. It's a very complex situation we're looking at here. If our sexual response is inhibited, if we're feeling inhibited around our sexual response, there's a lot going on: brain and nervous system, hormonal function, energy production, of course, circulation, there's glands, and so much more. So I'm not here to tell you I have the cure for what ails you, but I have some suggestions. One of the fundamental aspects of energy for sex, energy for life, energy for anything, is in traditional Chinese herbalism, the kidney adrenal meridian. The adrenals, as they say in traditional Chinese herbalism, are the root of power, the seat of power. Our adrenal health gives us that energy for life, including energy, of course, for our sexual response. What we're looking at here in this image, by the way, those two little golden nuggets are sitting on top of the kidneys. Those are the adrenal glands. It's amazing that they are so small, but affect everything in our bodies, including that energy that we need for life, the adrenal glands. So one of the best things we could do to support adrenal health is this. It's a lifestyle. You know, again, I wish I could say, oh, I have the herb that's gonna give it to you, but it really is restorative sleep. We need sleep 8 to 9 hours a night. Wouldn't that be nice? Right? We do what we can. We do our best. Restorative sleep, of course, nutritious diet. We need the macronutrients. We need the micronutrients to function. We need some movement, be it gentle chair yoga, whatever it is. Gardening, walking is one of the best, swimming, whatever it is, movement and calming practices. And supplement with supplements. That's kind of the last of the last things to consider here, but really supporting adrenal health. Adrenal power, our root of power, according to traditional Chinese medicine, really does take a comprehensive approach. So I know we don't always want to hear that, but so be it. Let's talk about some of our herbal allies, by the way. And by the way, this photograph, just so stunning. I took this in the neighborhood. I got to say, it's a stunning place to live up in the Sierra Mountains. This is helps my adrenal health, just living surrounded by nature. Let's talk about our herbal allies, shall we? Kava kava. You know, kava, sometimes called awa, sometimes called kava kava. There's a variety of different names for this plant, which is in the pepper family. You see the Latin name here up on the top left, Piper methysticum, mystical piper, mystical pepper. Piper is referring to the fact that it is from the pepper family. So when you do use a liquid kava extract, for example, you kind of taste that peppery taste in it. It's native to the South Pacific Islands. I know Vanuatu, for example, is renowned for its usage and centuries-long history of using kava kava, often ceremonially in gatherings of dignitaries, and also as a slight intoxicant. It does impart that sort of euphoric feeling depending on the quality of the materials you're using. But Piper methysticum, the reason why I added kava kava to the talk today is because it's calming. It helps to relax us. And sometimes to get into the mood, you know what I mean? To get into the mood, we just need to calm down. So that's why some people will rely on wine or alcohol to calm them down, the calming response. When we are relaxed, we may feel more inclined to romance. Piper methysticum, kava kava, this is some of the traditional ways it's used. Here on the top left, you see, sometimes it's referred to as a root, kava root. The bark is used. It's actually not a root, it's a rhizome. Roots grow up and down. I'm going to use my phone for this. Roots grow up and down like this. Rhizomes like ginger and kava, the rhizomes grow underneath the soil like this, not up and down. It's a rhizome. The bark is used. It's dried in the sun traditionally, and then combined with, if you want to talk real tradition, sometimes they combine it with the saliva from a virgin. We don't do that today. I don't do that today. Manufacturers don't do that today. Obviously, I don't know if it's still being used in that way in where it grows, from where it grows, but certainly there's a liquid added to it, often water, and then it's pounded and pressed, and then that gourd or that cup is often passed around within the ceremony. Again, it's calming. Sometimes that's all it takes. Let's talk about ginseng. You know, a lot of people equate ginseng as a stimulant, as something that'll give you that quick energy to really get the job done, so to speak. Ginseng's not like that. No, actually, ginseng traditionally is not used by the young or typically children. It's when we get older that we need to start building, nurturing those adrenals, nurturing our fundamental energy reserves. Panax ginseng can come into play at that point. What it does, it really helps over time. Again, it's not this quick, you know, I am looking for a stimulant sort of herb. There are those, and I'll talk about one of them in a moment. But Panax ginseng, typically used for a period of time to nurture those fundamental reserves according to traditional Chinese herbalism. Now, there are a lot of different ginsengs, not a ton, don't get me wrong, but here you see a few of them. Korean ginseng, Chinese ginseng, American ginseng, Tianchi ginseng. Sometimes we see the Korean or Chinese as red or white ginseng. And I have to say, one of my favorites is actually the American ginsengs, because unlike the Asian ginsengs, the Korean ginseng, Chinese ginseng, which are great, they tend to be a little bit more warming, a little bit more on the hot side, warm to hot side. So according to traditional principles, the American ginseng is considered neutral in its energetics, so it's applicable to more people. Some people may run really warm internally. They may not want to use something like Korean red ginseng. It's a little bit too much heat in a person that already has a lot of heat. So the American ginseng, and is one of my favorites. And I've heard it said before that we actually export more American ginseng than we use in America. It's so popular across the globe, especially in the Asian countries, that we often are seeing more of it going out of the country than what we use internally. Ginseng, it's a great one to start incorporating or consider incorporating perhaps at a certain stage in life when you just need to rebuild a little. Horny goatweed, the name says it all. You know where it gets this name, horny goatweed, is the legend is that people were observing goats in the fields, and the goats were getting randy, if you know what I mean. The goats were expressing extra sexual vigor out in the fields, and then it was noted that the goats were actually eating a field of horny goatweed. So I don't know if it's true or not, but that's apparently where the name comes from. Epimedium is its Latin name. I work for the American Botanical Council, and one of the things I'm doing right now is reviewing research on epimedium. And I have to say, a lot of the research, the modern research coming out, is not necessarily on the fact that it's renowned for sexual vigor or enhancement. It's actually very supportive to bone health. So something to consider. If you want more information on those studies, go to pubmed.gov, pubmed.gov, G-O-V. It's a free website, government website that is just an abundance of research studies that you could look up. You type in epimedium or even horny goatweed in the search aspect of it, and it'll give you study after study after study. So one of the uses in Chinese herbalism is to support the yang energy, Y-A-N-G. That's the more masculine energy, and sometimes that's associated with overall energy production, overall energy. And again, when we have that energy for life, we have it for our sexual lives as well. Horny goatweed to support the yang energy. Contains a variety of different chemical compounds, of course, and icarin that you see here, I-C-A-R-I-I-N, is just one of them. And yes, it may increase circulation to the peripheries, somewhat similarly how ginkgo does, the very distinct mechanisms of action. But when you increase circulation to the peripheries, I'm talking about the head, the hands, the feet, and the sex organs. So when you increase circulation to those organs, it helps with vitality of those organs. Horny goatweed, epimedium. I love adaptogens, and I almost always in my monthly health tune-ups talk about adaptogens because they apply for so many reasons. Adaptogens are given the name adaptogen because they help us adapt to stress. When we adapt to the stressors in our lives in a healthy manner, we are healthier overall. If we have a healthy stress response, we could conquer the world, so to speak. So healthy stress response, helping us adapt to stress. Here we're looking at ashwagandha in India, growing in a botanical garden in India. Looking at rhodiola. We're looking at the classic Eleutherococcus senticosus. It's also, back in the day, used to be called Siberian ginseng. Eleuthero. We call it Eleuthero now and not Siberian ginseng because it's not a ginseng and it's not from Siberia. But Eleutherococcus senticosus, beautiful plant and a fantastic adaptogen. And holy basil, part of the basil family, helping us adapt to stress. It's everything. I wanted to add one of those classic herbs that you find in a lot of these products, dietary supplements, where it says to support sexual response, particularly in men. I wanted to add this one. There's a time and a place for it, but I'm not a huge fan because it's quite stimulating. Again, there's a time and a place for stimulants. I Love coffee. I love espresso. Use my Italian espresso maker. There's a time and a place to use stimulants, perhaps for some. But I think there's a lot of misusage of this plant, yohimbe, the bark. It is stimulant. It may, for some, increase heart palpitations. It may interact with other medications. It may increase pulse rate. And yeah, it does increase blood flow. And when you're looking at erectile function, blood flow is key. So yeah, there's a time and a place. There is a time and a place. I'm not going to deny that, but just not a lot every day throughout the day. Don't rely on this for energy. Let's just say that. As we roll into the final moments here, I just wanted to pop in a couple of my favorite products. Herb Farm, you can't go wrong. Anything Herb Farm. I love Herb Farm, the long tradition of herbalists supporting the company and the amazing products they carry. A lot of them organic, a lot of them grown on the premises in Oregon. All of these contain a variety of ingredients. Often the ginseng you'll find in the female libido, as well as the male vitality and adrenal support with some of the adaptogens. You can't go wrong with Herb Farm. They also have a fantastic kava kava, one of the first to offer kava in the natural product stores, and it packs a punch. Read the instructions. If you're going to use any of these, of course, read the instructions, do your own research, talk with your practitioner, see what's the best fit for your needs. I put in some liquid bliss. Again, sometimes all it takes is us to calm down, to de-stress, to decompress, so we could have those moments of romance, should we be so lucky, right? Horny goatweed, Source Naturals, always a clean product, and Male Response, loaded with a lot of stuff beyond just the botanicals. And of course, the foundation of health, the pillars of health, never change. Let's start there and supplement with supplements. There it is. There it is. Thank you so much for joining me. Here is the email. If you want your complimentary Canna joint relief, don't hesitate to reach out to me for any questions, comments, concerns, anything I can do to support you and your loved ones. I am here for. So thank you so much. Have a beautiful day, and I will see you next month for the monthly health tune-up. Thank you.